You ever notice the silence in the suburbs isn't really silence at all? It's thick, like you could almost choke on it. It's not peaceful. It's not the soft hush you'd get out in the woods or that sacred quiet you find in a church. Nah, it's something different, a kind of loaded, weaponized silence where you feel every curtain twitch, every unseen neighbor holding their breath, just waiting for someone to mess up. I used to joke that in my neighborhood, they monitored property values from space. Not entirely sure I was wrong. They call my neighborhood the Oaks. Premier Plan Community, that's what the brochures said. You know what that actually means? We cut down every real oak and then named all the streets after them to ease our guilt. My house is beige. The one next door is beige. The one across the street, they tried to fancy it up and called it Sand Dune, but let's be honest, it's beige. Everything's the same, just a shade off, like a bad attempt at camouflage for upper middle class life. So picture this. It's a Saturday, high noon. The sun's right overhead. Nowhere to hide feels like a spotlight aimed straight at my driveway, daring me to show a single weed. But my place was dialed and lawn trimmed, so close you'd think I shaved it. Trash cans hidden behind a regulation lattice, flag at the approved angle. I was inside, safe from prying eyes, finally facing a task I'd managed to dodge for half a year. Hanging a picture. Not just any pictorial lithograph of a lighthouse. All heavy, framed with driftwood. My wife, Sarah, brought it back from Maine, and it had been propped in the hallway so long I started to think it might file for squatters' rights. Jack, Sarah says that morning, stepping over the frame on her way out to yoga. If that lighthouse isn't on the wall when I get home, I'm going to assume you don't love me, the ocean, or the concept of vertical storage. I promised her it'll be up. She snorted an un-yoga snort, to and left. So there I am, high noon, tools spread on the floor like I'm prepping for surgery. I've got my hammer, a real kind, heavy, with a leather grip, not one of those toy things from the big box store. My dad used this hammer to build sheds. Me? Mostly just to threaten IKEA furniture. I'll mark the wall, line up the hook, and just as the neighborhood slips into an even deeper hush bang, I drive a nail, then another bang. I just make it perfect. Bang. I pause. You know that feeling, right? That tiny moment where you just savor getting something right, no matter how small. Then ding dong. Not a polite doorbell, either. This was frantic, like someone trying to break a Morse code record. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. My heart stutters. My hammer's still in my hand. I check the clock, 12:01. Who rings a doorbell like that? Cops? Fire? Some neighbor with a grudge? I go to the door, and there she is, Brenda. If you looked up HOA president in the dictionary, you'd just see her photo. Short, somewhere between 40 and forever. Visor jammed low, bug-eyed sunglasses, capri pants, clipboard clutched like a shield. That clipboard's got the HOA's majestic oak stamped on it. The same oak we bulldozed for the parking lot. I try to sound polite, but my grip's tight on the hammer. Can I help you, Brenda? She doesn't do hellos. Just pushes her sunglasses up, gives me that look like I'm gum stuck to her shoe. Did you? She starts, voice all quivering with accusation. Well, did you not just discharge a weapon in this residence? I blink. A weapon. I heard shots, she says, 3 distinct shots. Pop, pop, pop. Her impression sounds more like opening champagne, but whatever. It's Saturday, Jack. People are trying to relax. The Hendersons are having brunch. I was meditating. Then, bam, gunfire. I look at my hammer. Brenda, I'm hanging a picture. It's a hammer. Those were nails, not gunshots. She makes this wet, dismissive sound. Don't play games with me, Jack. I know what I heard. Percussive, high-decibel impact noise. It echoed down the whole cul-de-sac. It's a hammer, I say again, slowly, like she's a toddler with a grenade. I hit a nail 3 times with the windows closed. Doesn't matter, she snaps, flicking her pen open and eyeing her clipboard. Noise is noise. You're in violation. Violation of what? Breathing? Existing. My blood pressure's up now. She's got it ready, the nuisance clause. Article 14, Section C. Any rhythmic, jarring, or industrial-grade noise disrupting the serene atmosphere of the community is strictly prohibited, unless pre-approved by the Architectural Review Committee. I laugh. I can't help it. Industrial grade? Brenda, I'm not forging steel. I'm not running a jet engine. I'm hanging a 4-pound picture. She peers at me over her glasses. It sounded industrial. Shook my peace of mind. And your attitude's a disturbance, too. My attitude? Now I'm outside on the porch. Brenda, it's noon. Quiet hours are 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. You fined me last month for taking my recycling out 5 minutes early. I paid it. But right now, I'm well within my rights. She doesn't miss a beat. Reasonable is subjective. And as the president, I determine what's subjective. 3 loud bangs at noon is aggression, Jack. Passive-aggressive behavior designed to irritate your neighbors. I grip the hammer. I have 1 nail left. 1. Then I'm done. She steps back, clutching that clipboard like it's a baby. Do not. I am giving you a formal verbal warning. If you create 1 more percussive noise, I will escalate this. To what? You gonna call SWAT? I'm half joking, half not. Level 2 infraction. She hisses. And yeah, I know what those fines look like. Start at $250 and double every time. Brenda, go home. Let me hang my picture. Not with that racket. Use a command strip. Adhesive. It's heavy. I try, knowing I'm arguing with a brick wall in floral print. Adhesive won't hold. Then you should have applied for a renovation permit. Any wall penetration is a renovation. That's it. The logic loop is closed. No way out with her. She lives for the rules. Get off my porch, I tell her. She gasps, big mistake, I guess. Excuse me. You heard me. You're trespassing. I'm not breaking any laws or any real bylaws. I'm hanging a picture. Now get off my porch before I call the actual police for harassment. She goes red visor clashing with her face. You'll regret this, Jack Miller. Mark my words. Then she spins and marches away, flip-flops slapping the walk. I let her go. Left the door wide open so she'd hear what came next. Up the stairs, nail in place, hammer ready. Bang hard, louder than before, all 5 years of living in the Oaks behind it. Bang, just for good measure. The picture was finally up straight as an arrow. I admired it, then headed down for a beer, hands still shaking with adrenaline and rage. But I knew this wasn't over. Brenda doesn't retreat. She regroups. 45 minutes later, I hear a thick envelope slide under my door. Official, notice of violation, $550 in fines. Industrial level noise. Unauthorized renovation. Administrative fees. If I don't pay, they'll put a lien on the house. I stared at that letter, and then up at the lighthouse picture. Nice as it was, wasn't $500 nice. My first instinct? March across the street and stake the notice in her yard. But that's what she'd want to see, an excuse to escalate. No, I needed something smarter. So I went to my office, grabbed the big fat HOA binder 4 inches thick, every bylaw, every regulation. Most folks use it as a doorstop. I made myself a drink and started reading. Hours passed. Fence heights, approved mulch colors, no gnomes, no fun. But then, as the sun started to fade, I found it buried deep, the maintenance exception. All noise and construction rules are waived for emergency repairs and structural testing. Just need a permit. Brenda fined me for unauthorized construction. She claimed my hammer was a renovation. Fine. If she wants to play construction, I'll give her construction. Only I needed help, a real pro. Someone who saw noise as an art form. I called up Tony, the Jackhammer Vitelli. College buddy, demolition man. His motto? We crush it. I dialed him up. Tony, it's Jack. I got a structural problem. He laughs, thinks I mean a real one. Jack, you want to piss someone off, huh? He says, picking up on my tone. You have no idea. I say, I need a stress test. Vibration. Noise. The works. He gets it. Who's the target? Brenda. She fined me for using a hammer. Tony cracks up. A hammer? All right, I can help. You want the full package? Dump trucks, compressors, death metal on the radio. Double if you start Monday. Sharp. For double, I'll bring the guys who yell, he promises. We'll make your house shake. So Sunday, I sit on the porch, sipping coffee, watching Brenda patrol. She's got her big straw hat, clipboard, scanning for violations. 9 a.m., the jogging dads go by in their performance fabric. 10, the garden crews manicure the grass electric blowers only, Sundays. By 11, you smell fancy charcoal for artisanal grilling. Then, just after lunch, everything Changiza, a low rumble, diesel, unmistakable. Tony's battered Ford rumbles in. Vitelli demolition stenciled on the side. People stare. It's like a wild animal wandered onto the golf course. Tony gets outbuilt like a vending machine, cigar clamped between his teeth. Jack, he yells, shaking my hand. Nice place. Smells like potpourri and regret. Brenda's across the street, clutching her clipboard, scurrying into her garage. Tony waves, nice hat. She doesn't wave back. Tony gives the driveway a once-over, kneels at a harmless hairline crack, and nods gravely. Jack, this is catastrophic. Potential subsurface fissure. Could bring down the whole corner eventually. We sit, plan over beers. Tony outlines it all. Phase 1, exploratory drilling. Pneumatic jackhammers, core samples every 2 feet. Loud, but just the appetizer. Main course, hydraulic breaker. Big Bertha. Hits at 120 decibels. The whole block will feel it. And the kicker? Backup beepers stuck on full volume. Every time I move the rig, you get the beep. OSHA, you know. And every 15 minutes air horn safety checks. It's perfect. Brenda will lose her mind. Only thing left is the paperwork. We go down to the county office, Tony's cousin at the desk. He looks at the address. Oaks of Serenity? My sister-in-law got fined for a bird feeder. Approved, make sure you test real good. We walk out, permit and hammy shield. Monday, 7:40 a.m., the invasion starts. Flatbed with the Bobcat, dump truck, compressor trailer works. Air brakes hiss, diesel engines growl. Tony jumps out, starts directing traffic. Brenda's door opens within 10 seconds. She's out in her silk robe, wild-eyed. Jack, what is this? I hold up the permit, coffee in the other hand. Morning, Brenda. Beautiful day for home improvement. You can't do this. No commercial vehicles. They arrived after 7:45, legal. I point out. You said I had industrial noise. Figured I better check my foundation. Tony chimes in. We're testing the slab, ma'am. Could get messy. She threatens police, board, whatever. I hold up the permit. City trumps HOA. Safety first. She's seething, purple-faced. Tony checks his watch, 7:58. Start time's 8 o'clock, ma'am. We follow the rules. At 8 o'clock sharp, Tony revs up Big Bertha. The jackhammer comes down, thud. Thud. Thud like the world's ending. The whole ground shakes, windows rattle, birds scatter. Brenda's screaming, but you can't hear her over the racket. For the first time, the only thing louder than the HOA in the Oaks of Serenity was me. And let me tell you, standing on my lawn, coffee in hand, watching Brenda's face turn all the colors of a bad bruise, I finally understood something. Justice in suburbia isn't always about who's right or who follows the rules the best. Sometimes it's about knowing the rules so well you can turn them inside out. Sometimes you don't need to break the silence. You just need to be louder than the people who weaponize it. So let me ask you, where do you draw the line between keeping the peace and letting someone trample all over your life with their petty power trips? Ever had a neighbor or an HOA push you so far you had to get creative? Drop your wildest story or your thoughts on what counts as justice down below. I want to hear how you'd handle a Brenda of your own.
Cảm ơn tất cả các bạn đã xem video.